Hello, everyone. Hope you all are well. So, end of financial year for Australia is around the corner. 30th of June is generally everyone's financial year unless they choose it to be something different. So, what is important for us to make sure is the payroll data matches up, everything reconciles before the time comes for actually finalizing single touch payroll or issuing the payment summaries, which if you are still doing that. So a very warm welcome to everyone to Neha's Bookkeeping Corner, and let's get straight into it. I'm very excited about today's topic. Okay, so what we've got here is really a checklist. So you could use this checklist for any system, okay? What we've got here is a bit of a payroll reconciliation just to show you what we match with what, so you make sure you've got everything right. So number one, we've got you verify all the wages, salaries, bonuses that are recorded correctly. So there's lots of ways of doing it in different systems, but the main way to do it is, first of all, it's a good idea to check each month that payroll reconciles. In a system like Xero, you have a payroll clearing account, which is the wages payable account. If it is zero, chances are this is already done for you guys, okay? Where you can make sure that whatever wages are physically paid matches to the pay slips, okay? And making sure all the bonuses are recorded correctly. A lot of times what happens is if your books are not done by a bookkeeper, bonus can be entered accidentally as an expense rather than getting processed through payroll. So if you're one of those, you gave December bonus to your employees, please make sure it gets entered through payroll. That's why we are having this video well before 30 June, making sure if those things have happened, anything you've paid to employee, unless it's reimbursement of expense, should go through payroll, okay? So if you're unsure how to do that, again, you can contact us or contact your accountant or bookkeeper. Make sure you do, I do like a little checklist because then I can say, yep, done, done, done. It's quite nice. Then you want to make sure your super contributions are up to date. We know that it's really important to pay super correctly and in time. We have to pay it, each quarter. That's the minimum. Again, with the super clearinghouse in place, we should really be paying about, say, 10 days before the due date of the 28th of the quarter. A lot of businesses these days are actually paying it monthly. Some of them are even paying it along with the payroll to avoid any issues at the end. But you want to make sure the super contributions are up to date. Again, what you can do is to make your life easy. When you look at your super payable account, this is an account transaction report, and I'll show you how you do that in Xero. But this is very similar to getting a report out of MYOB, QuickBooks, or any other system. So super running balance should always be zero, or it should be the one that's just outstanding for the prior month or prior quarter. Okay. Then you want to make sure that your bank payments matches payroll records. So as I mentioned before, generally your wages payable account, which is a balance sheet account, as long as that's zero and your super payable only shows what's outstanding, your records are matching okay. Reviewing PAYG summary. So confirming total earnings, tax withheld, super for each employee is correct, ensuring allowances and deductions are accurately recorded, and address any discrepancies before finalizing. So for all these points, what's important is you export two types of reports. So one is your payroll employee summary. This is just a dummy data where you'll have all your employees' earnings, deductions, tax, super, net pay, reimbursements. And then you get your general ledger or account transaction, whatever you want to call it, here, right? So I'll just show, as I said, I'll show you in a minute how we export that. So what you want to do is your PAYG withholding, whatever is in credit, the total amount right there. So what we will ideally do, whatever is the total of the credit, it should, because that's our liability, what we have to pay, should really match up with your tax right there. With your super, again, your credit here should match up to the balance right there because, you know, they're both liabilities. And then your gross wages should match up to your gross wages transaction here. And this should always be 0. So I was going to show you a single touch payroll, but before that, I want to go over how do we get that report that we talked about. So if you go to account transaction report and you click on wages, so anything that's to do with the wages, super, PAYG withholding account, and because you're doing it beforehand, so I always recommend before you get to June, try doing this beforehand. So there's any issues that can be resolved in time. Now, because this is a demo file, it doesn't have all the accounts, but something like this where you've got all these chart of accounts to do with payroll, you can actually use that as a good report. I would go one step ahead to save your time in the future and actually call it wages rec as custom report, which would be helpful. Alrighty, so that's a custom report. Now I can always, with the benefit of custom report is I can always go into the custom report and open that report, change the period and get that information. So once you are comfortable with it, what I would also recommend is when you go to finalization on single touch payroll, you come here, click on CSV, and then I'll open the report. Then match up that data also with your payroll reconciliation report. So see here are all your address, tax file number, period. There's your gross wages, overtime, etc., PAYG withholding. So you want to add these up and also match up with your payroll reconciliation spreadsheet that we all created right here, and then life will be so much easier. So if it doesn't match, generally the reason can be that while processing the payroll, the STP didn't get lodged. Address any discrepancies, make sure you're submit the final STP report to ATO. So after doing all those checks, that's when you do it. Ensure payroll software marks the final pay event correctly. The best way to check it, the way I do it, I go into my BAS agent portal. You can go into business portal if you're doing it for yourself, or go to your BAS or tax agent portal. There's a report there where you can see that it's been submitted okay. And then what I also do is just let the staff know that this is done, and generally they will have it straight away in their MyGov accounts. Again, with the super compliance, you want to make sure the super is paid. So the best way is to pay super before 30 June for that particular financial year, but you know, you can pay up until 28th of July. Okay, if they're not paid correctly, you know, you always need to submit super guarantee charge statements. Again, here we've got ensure super payments are made to the correct funds. It's always a good idea to sometimes, you know, just check in with the client, staff. You can just say, can you please make sure your super is coming into your account? Because, you know, if you've got the right information, you put the right information in Xero, let's just say you pay through Xero or QuickBooks or MYOB, you won't go wrong. Issue payment summaries, if you're not using STP. If you're using STP, all you'll have to do is you come here, go to single touch payroll, and this is after all the checks that you're confident, you go to proceed finalization. And let's just say you're happy with it. Here is where you can download PDFs and CSV. You can look at the report as well of the business. And then you can basically click on submit finalization and submit to ATO, and it's done. Okay, you will then get an email. If there's any issues, you will get an email. If you're still doing it manually because of your system not working or for whatever reason, you can manually write down the payment summaries. Not ideal, but you know, better than nothing. Making sure for tax and audits, that all the payroll records and tax withholdings are well documented. So we save all these reports in Dropbox, store payroll records for at least 7 years. Very, very important. Consult always, send those reports. So again, for our own clients, whatever we've saved as part of our payroll records, we send it to the client and the accountant so they all have the information. Update payroll tax rates if required. Again, using softwares will already do it. If you're doing it manually, that's when you need to make sure you follow tax rates and awards and minimum wages. But generally, you would use a good system which automatically updates everything for you. But maybe you have only one staff member and you are still checking those things manually for some reason. That's there for you. So that's why we put it for everyone's use. Review employee classification and contract statuses, so make sure they're all matching up with what you're actually paying them. Again, consider upgrading payroll systems. So at the moment, we are actually talking to a client in one of our pharmacy clients, and they were on one system that was really slow and inefficient. We are moving them to an efficient system. So it's always a good idea to keep ahead on the technology game and make sure you are, doing all the right things and saving your time as well. So I hope you found this useful. I will push those spreadsheets as downloadable for you guys in the video. But if you've got any other suggestions on other topics that you would like to see, please comment down below or send me an email at support@somesubstance.com.au. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best for end of financial year. I hope the payroll reconciliation goes as smooth as it can. All the best, and I'll see you next time.